Hi, welcome back to another Hangout on Air. We are going to have an interesting topic because normally we associate fun with drugs and alcohol, and this time we will try to give tips how to have fun, 9 ways of having fun in life without alcohol and drugs. And for that, we will have our normal panel and of experts in this area, that is Peter and Sophie. And I have to do a disclaimer because I returned like a week ago from Colorado. And if you remember, Colorado is one of the places in the United States that have possibility, where you have the possibility of going to special shops like the liquor shops in Sweden, because Sophie is from Sweden, that you can go and buy alcohol because they are state-owned and everything. In these shops of cannabis shops, you can purchase cannabis and for recreational and medicinal purposes, and also you can have like kind of different types of products. Like one of the ones that was more interesting me to see was cookies, cannabis cookies. So you have like cookies of cannabis. So they are doing a lot of products with cannabis, but this is a disclaimer that I was there like a week ago, but I think really that this is an interesting topic because people in a society that we are like, that everything has to be very fast, we associate that, okay, if you want to have fun, you have to put something from outside, some chemical thing inside your body in order to have fun. But you don't need that. That's why we are here to talk about the 9 ways of having fun without alcohol and drugs. So, Sophie, our Swedish representative, can you start with your first tip?
No, of course, yeah. Hello, everyone. Yeah, no, my experience of alcohol and drugs is that I lived a life where it's almost like asked to drink alcohol, and I have had many periods when I've just, since I was a student, maybe since I was like early 20s, I've had month, 2 months when I don't drink, and I do this very consciously, and I have like a very strict rule for myself. And when I have periods, I leave a foggy brain behind. You get the clarity that you will never get anywhere else, because it's like when you cut out these kind of things that stimulates your brain, you get your brain gets very satisfied from a glass of wine, from some crap food, from some sugary stuff, whatever. But when you cut out all of that from your diet for a while, you get clarity. And I just think, it's more fun to have a clear brain every day when you wake up, instead of being slightly hangover, tired, you cannot think, you don't know what to do. So anyway, my tips is just cut it out for a while and see how you feel, and you will experience life in a different way.
Okay, thank you. Peter, your turn. Our Australian representative.
And coming from a culture that is very much into drinking, and we in Australia and we have drive-through bottle shops, which I remember having a visitor from America, and America were the creators of drive-through everything, but ironically she'd not really seen a drive-through bottle shop. So in Australia we drive through this place and there's lots of alcohol, and you load up your car and off you go. So I've enjoyed a drink or two through my life. I've never partaken of any other kind of drugs, legal or illegal highs, but I think, we have to remember that our body is actually is a brilliant pharmacy, and we can create our own highs. And one of the fantastic ways of doing that is to laugh. Laughter actually produces endorphins in the body, and a year or two ago I discovered something called laughter yoga. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It isn't about doing all sorts of weird contortions and positions. It's simply about working the part of the body where laughter occurs. And it was created about 20 years ago by an Indian doctor called Madan Kataria, and he recognized the healing properties of and the highs that come with laughter. So he created this process by which you engage in voluntary laughter rather than involuntary laughter, but you do it in a group, and you maintain eye contact, and you have sort of childlike games and so on. And what starts out as kind of feeling a little forced and unnatural turns into more natural and spontaneous laughter. And a number of people, including myself, have said it's the best fun you can have with your clothes on. So I recommend laughter, and I think generally, I think it's good to laugh at the absurdity of life, and you know, laugh at the things that you sometimes perhaps take too seriously. So that's my first tip.
Good. And now my first tip. I would say experience the world. It is absolutely fantastic when you have the possibility to go out, for instance, in nature, go on the top of a hill, even if it's not like the highest mountain, but if you have the possibility to inhale deeply, and also to walk around and to enjoy the buffet that is served to your senses when you are walking. Because when you are walking in a very nice place, and this normally is outside or near the seaside or riverside or lakeside. I'm a water guy, so I need water. Sometimes it's a problem that I have. It's if I'm going to a city that has no sea or lake or river in a big proportion, not like a small creek. It is for me a problem because I need that. Other people talk about mountains. They need the mountains. So this kind of buffet to the senses that nature gives you, it is something remarkable in order to really having fun, because your senses are let's say improved with that. So this is one of my best ones. So Sophie, what is yours? Your second?
Yeah. Well, this is about friendship and alcohol. And when I was a student, I lived in a city called Lund, part of Sweden, and there was a lot of alcohol. And I was at a Christmas party, and there were some people who were just really weird because I never seen them sober in my whole life. Like we've known each other for like years, and one of them even told me, I think I lost my social abilities to socialize when you're not drunk. And this moment really stayed with me for quite a long time. And I think, like, when I've had my periods when I'm not drinking and when I've been cutting down on alcohol, I really realized who are my real friends, who appreciate me as a friend and not a drinking buddy. And I've been in this place several times, as many other people, where you just sort of use the drug together. That's the only social lubricant you have. And there's nothing else holding your friendship together. And it's been a quite sad awakening for me to see who is like your friends or who only wants you as a drinking buddy, who only wants you there so you can share another bottle of wine, and who is there even though you don't drink anything. And I think for me, it means that if I'm aware about more who are the friends who are really there for me, I have a better life instead of being someone's alcohol, drinking buddy, whatever. And also a thing, like relationships in life is the most complex thing, isn't it? And when someone that you are around drinks a lot, they are abusing you mentally. The psychologically abuse is very common among groups of heavy drinkers. So if you are, if you want to stay sober or more sober yourself or cut down your drinking, you also have to cut down the kind of relationships that are just built on alcohol. And for me, that's the crucial thing. I don't want to have friends who just want me there so they can have alcohol. So, yeah, review your friendship.
On the topic that you are talking, and let me remind our audience that we take questions, and we just got a comment because it was outside the comment, the Q&A area, and because of the message that is, I will not identify unless the person says you can identify me, and the person says like this. Hello, I'm really glad I just found about this hangout. I have been sober for nearly 20 months after more than 20 years of addiction. Life has never been so good. I have never enjoyed life as much as I do. Looking forward to hear about this topic and sharing with other listeners. And this is the reason why we do these kind of things, is to share what we have learned through our paths in life. So Peter, what have you learned about having fun without alcohol and drugs?
Well, my second point actually builds a little bit on Sophie's. So it's interesting because some people actually, as Sophie was saying, the only way they have a relationship is through the actual taking of drugs or alcohol or whatever, but the friendship doesn't exist beyond that, really. My second tip is to choose carefully the company you keep. I've had friends who I've enjoyed drinking with, but equally we don't need to drink together to have fun. We just like being together anyway. And I think it's important to spend more time with people where you each enjoy each other's company, you respect each other, you value each other, and you just enjoy being together. It's fun, it's uplifting or whatever. And choose to spend less time with people who seem committed to maintaining negative energy and negative attitudes. I say committed because I think we all know that there are people who, when they enter the room, when they enter a room, the room lights up, and there are people that when they leave the room lights up. And we all have downtimes. That's part of being human, and we should be there to support each other and uplift each other when we're down. But there are just some people who just seem committed to being down. No matter what you do or say, they'll find a negative angle to it. And we don't really need those people in our lives. We just have to be a bit more selective. But of course you have friends who have down times and you're there for them. That's part of it. But that they'll respond at some point and they'll be back again. So in a nutshell, just choose the quality of the company and make sure that it uplifts you and that you uplift them.
About the company, one of the things that I see, but I'm a trainer, and maybe this is why I'm more attentive to this part, is one of the things that I see that gives you more fun is when you have the opportunity to share your knowledge. When you have something that it might be how to cook a certain dish, it might be how to put the space shuttle up in the air, whatever. But when you have the possibility to share that knowledge to somebody that is willing to learn from you, you really get uplifted. And it is really interesting how that gives you a sense of fulfillment that is such fun to have. Yeah. So anybody in the world has some knowledge about something. And the thing is that we have to find the people that are willing to also receive that knowledge. And that's it. It's so simple as that. And you will have a lot of fun, because when people learn from you, when you see them evolving, that's why for many times people have this kind of fear. I'm teaching people that they will become better than I. it's a bit of a stupid fear, because if you see, like, when you see they're going up, 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 because also it was you that helped that going up the ladder, you will get this fun. It will be fun, and suddenly you will have more people that want to be with you.
And
so
I think
that's my second one. Yes, Peter.
Yeah, well, just building on that, I think it's not only joyful for you, the one who has the knowledge or experience that helps others, but it's also joyful for them. I know that I love learning from people who have, knowledge, experience that I can, benefit from. So I think it's joyful for everybody, really. That's how learning should be. It's just a shame that a lot of people have a bad experience when they go into education as children.
Yeah, building on what you built just now, that's why I have fun in this hangout, because I'm always learning with you guys. Sophie.
Yeah. Okay.
You're third.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share one tips and then a thought. So my first tips: if you are planning to cut down drinking, there's lots of different ways to hide it. You don't even have. If you go to a party, you don't have to tell everyone that you're not drinking. It's very simple. You don't have to announce that to everyone, and some people will be very, very upset because you don't drink, and they will be like, "Why not?" And you're like, "Well, it's not your business." And a friend of mine, she's often going on. Well, she used to go on lots of dates, and she often asked the bartender to make her a drink which looks like a G&T, gin and tonic, but it was just soda water. And she was running the drinks the whole evening. The men she was dating, they were not allowed to buy her drinks because she didn't want to get that drunk. Anyway, so that's a practical tips for everyone to bring with them. And then I think I'm a strong believer in improving your senses, your mind, and your body. Especially when you get older, then you're like breaking down your body if you're not looking after it. And one thought that I've had for a long time is, how much does it actually cost the world of productivity? Because people are really hangover at work. And I believe it's millions and millions and millions. And I would say that it's in every employer's interest to have in their workplace that doesn't drink that much. But it's hard, alcohol is a drug after all. And when you get addicted, it's a physical need, because your brain is so uncomfortable not having it. And when you are finally somehow moving away from having this need to always have this dopamine kick or serotonin kick, whatever, in your brain from alcohol or crap and sugar and other addiction things, you get much stronger senses. Your mind gets attention on other things. And that is the kind of clarity you really want in life. And I don't know, the experiences is on a different level, and your brain is developing itself in a way it would never be able to develop itself if it was constantly hangover, like several days a week. And I don't have an exact number of how much it costs the world that we drink this much, but I read a number that in 2012, over 3 million people died because of alcohol-related illnesses. And the people that every day lose hours of product, they are always hangover. I cannot appreciate that cost, but it's enormous. And I also read in this report from WHO that about half of the world's population are regularly drinking alcohol. And this is just one of the drugs, then there are lots of other drugs that just brings you into different cultures and you become slow or whatever. But anyway, if you would like to stay alert and develop your mind, I would recommend you to cut down or maybe cut out alcohol from your life.
Good. So, and that is actually a good point, because many times it is like a circle. So you, for instance, have had a bad day at the office, so you go and you have some drinks, and then the next day you have even a worse day because you had those drinks, and then you get more and more, and suddenly you are in a circle that you cannot get out. Peter, your third.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit like one of your earlier ones, Philippe, but it's see life as an exciting adventure. One of the things when I do a talk, I have a couple of signature stories, and one of them is the fact that I moved to the UK from Australia in 2000 with my family. So we had a 5-year-old son. We had no work lined up. We had nowhere to live. We bought a one-way ticket. So we arrived here, and obviously a challenging time, but I remember those days very fondly because I saw the whole thing as an adventure. It was all exciting. It was new. It was different. I didn't know where I was going to be working. I didn't know, what was going to happen, and I loved that. And the thing we need to understand about two key emotions, excitement and fear, is that they're actually the same physiological experience, and the only difference is how we label what's going on. So really it's a matter of choosing to label it as excitement rather than fear. I have a photograph I put up in a talk of a guy doing base jumping, where you jump off a cliff or a very high building with a parachute that will hopefully open at some point. And he's got this t-shirt that says fear is not an option. And the truth is fear is an option, but if you're going to do stuff like that, it's best not to choose fear, it's best to choose excitement. And related to that, I think it's good not to watch too much negative news. I think we need to understand what's going on in the world, but don't absorb so much of the negativity. Or going back to my first tip, learn to laugh at it, see it as absurd, see the funny side of things as well. And that's why comedy is so good. But in summary, I think the key is to just see life as an adventure. You don't know what it's going to bring. There's all sorts of things that can go wrong, but it's all part of the experience of life, all part of the learning. So that's how you would define adventure, really. Otherwise, it's pretty dull and boring.
Very good. Actually, there is one interesting thing is that we never know if we did right or wrong, because we don't live in parallel, we cannot see parallel lives. So that's why it's what the fear that we have is a little bit stupid, because you might have prevented awful things to happen if you moved, or you might prevent it to have a better life if you would stay there. I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. We'll never know. So,
I remember just on that too. I remember after the all the terrorist attacks of New York and London and everything, and people were saying, Australians are saying, get out of the country, and da da da. And I was just thinking, well, I'm not going to stop living because I'm afraid of dying. It's just crazy. Life is about just being out there doing stuff. And if you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, well, so be it. But like you say, you don't know that, going somewhere else that you think is safe isn't actually dangerous. I mean, you've no idea. So just enjoy it.
My last one. I will start by saying something that is very strange, because we are talking about 9 ways of having fun without alcohol and drugs. And my third one, the 9th, will be use your own drugs. Like Peter said a moment ago, we are like walking drugstores. We have so many drugs inside of us that we don't need more from outside. So we have things that are fantastic, like endorphins that we talked about here, dopamine, and this adrenaline. So these kind of things, dopamine and endorphins, we can get from exercising, from chocolate. Eat it wisely. And you can have it from exercise. So we see nowadays that some people are completely addicted to exercise, and because they want their endorphin and dopamine shot every day. And there is another thing that is very important to have fun in life without alcohol and drugs. And that is something that we didn't talk here, and it is very nice to use it. And that is sex. So that's good.
I was going to joke that you were going to say that, but you actually did it. Well done.
I did it. I did it. I did it. I think the world needs more and better one. I think that
I can just add on that, like men, they are not functioning that well if they are drunk. So if
exactly.
you like sex, don't drink.
Exactly. That's one of the absurd things, that people get drunk or almost drunk, and then they cannot perform. It is really stupid. So the ones that are smart are the ones that do like your friend. They fake that they are having a drink. So for instance, when you were telling about that episode, I was thinking about when I was doing my diet, and I'm still like being careful with my weight. One of the things that I do is I ask for sparkling water with lemon, and everybody thinks that is another type of drink, but I'm actually drinking sparkling water with lemon, and I'm the most awake guy in the party. So it is a way. And another thing that another drug that is very interesting is oxytocin, and that is it's connected with social recognition, and it's very nice. And you can get it from the sharing of knowledge and going into places where people really appreciate that you are there, because you are, like Peter was saying, a positive person. Because people love positive person, and they get away from negative people. So be as much positive as possible, not foolish, not to be a foolish optimist, but to be positive, and do not concentrate on the problems, concentrate on solutions. It is a way of being positive, because when you are like digging in the problem, everybody are getting away from you, because they are sick and tired of you talking about the problem, because you will not solve that problem, and you will create the other problems. So use your own drugs. Don't forget, good chocolate, good exercise, good laughter, and good sex. So that is my closing of my third. So guys, do you want to add up anything else? I also will ask the audience if they want to put any question. Anything?
Also, I think it's worth asking an audience if there's anything they would like us to make a focus for a future session.
Yeah, do you have suggestions for a future session? Because we always have topics, but maybe there are some that do you want to see if we get uncomfortable with even. So why not? So anything else to add, Sophie, while we give a little bit of time to people to imagine? But you also can send us an email or put it on Google Plus if you have a topic that you remember afterwards. So Sophie?
Yeah, well, I have a reflection on something that you just said, Filipe, about that focus on the positive, and I'm a strong believer that you should focus on things that actually can make a difference, and that micro action matters. And I've noticed that, in my own micro actions in life, with things that I'm not happy about, like change can often happen. I wouldn't say that makes you happy or satisfied. It makes you quite sad, depressed, and angry about the world. And I would say, don't be afraid of these kind of emotions and feelings, because it's just a reflection, right? And if you're like me, like I was fighting about sexism quite recently in an airport in Sweden. I wouldn't say that made me happy. I wouldn't say that I was focusing on only the positive things. I was focusing on sexist shit being sold in a government-owned airport, and I stood up for that. I got so harassed by sexist people and racist people, and it was just quite horrible. So connecting with yourself and your own values can be extremely satisfying, but it's not simple, it's not easy, it's quite complex. And if I was a heavy drinker, I would have been drinking tons of wine and been smoking and taking all other drugs to release all this uncomfortable feeling. But just because I don't drink, I didn't. I had my hands in handcuffs to not go and buy like a big chocolate cake to use as my comfort blanket. But anyway, I think it's very important that you take action on the things that you don't think are fair. It's not comfortable. I can totally understand everyone just sitting in their sofa preparing their next meal because that's an easy life. And then when people stand up and talk for human rights and say that this is not right, support them. I got support from people I never ever thought would send me a message, and then a lot of people that I talk to quite often, they didn't say anything. I'm like, right. So it's quite weird how these kind of things works. And I know another very strong feminist in the UK, and she said in an article in the Guardian, her name is Julie Bindel, I think. And she's quite outspoken about feminism in media, and it's like making her exhausted. Fighting for women's rights, it's exhausting, and but some people do it, and maybe it's a satisfaction in doing that, creating a better future for the people who not even are born. I don't know.
Yeah, and also we have to understand there is some social recognition from people that support the same ideas. Independently of the ideas, I think that we should defend our ideals. Because one of the problems that I see more in the world is that people are not very keen on being precise or saying what they want to say. Because we are living in a world that are tending to a kind of politically correct. So you cannot say certain things. We are mixing debate with discussion, and it is a problematic thing because we are cutting innovation. We are cutting the possibility of a society to evolve, because a society only evolves when you discuss things, when you debate things, better say. If you debate things, you can reach agreements and you can innovate upon that. So guys, our time is up. Thank you very much for your sharing. That is also a way of having fun. So we are doing these hangouts because we have fun with these hangouts and sharing with people our experience and our knowledge. So guys, once again, thank you very much, and see you in the next hangout that we will cover another topic. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.